Right. Good evening, everybody. We are at the Team ElectricSpirit Invitational. This is around the LaGuardia. Very rolling course, but I expect it to be very, very fast tonight. Only a short race, 15.5 kilometers, only 203 meters of elevation. It's a mixed category race, so we've got the A, B, C's and D's together. So let's take a quick look at some of the high-ranking riders. It's good to see actually we've got quite a few of the B riders are actually up there in the rankings as well. But our highest-ranked rider this evening is a Ray Wilson from ElectricSpirit Company. Great team actually, done a great job this last 2 seasons building what they're doing and obviously putting on some fantastic events as well. So I think this is the stage 3 of their particular series. I think this is the first time we've seen ElectricSpirit put on some events and so far the attendance has been absolutely fantastic. The second highest ranked rider is Patrick from the Coalition, Patrick Molinari. And then we've got a Tim Humpton from ElectricSpirit again. He's an A+ rider, so we expect him to be going well. He's got a 15-second sprint of 12.3 watts a kilo. And then we've got our very own Pro Vision's Lee Wild. He's the 4th highest ranked rider we've got in this race this evening. His 15-second sprint is 14.3 watts a kilo. That's pretty big, but there are some A's in here. I can see 15.8 watts a kilo. It's Joe Endersby, again ElectricSpirit. John Gracely, he's another one, 15.1. So there are some good sprinters in this race. As you can see, I mean, I'm looking at the B's only here, and there's 87 riders in the B race alone. So this is going to be fantastic. This is going to be a contested race for sure. Again, short, 15.5 kilometers. It's a rolling course, this one. So basically we're staying around Central Park for this particular race. So it'll be really interesting to see how the start pans out here. Hopefully you guys can see me, hear me. This is the first time I've gone live on a race for some time. We've got 30 seconds left on the clock. You can see some of the banter there going on. It's always been a bit of banter, I have to say, between the guys at Team ElectricSpirit and the Pro Vision team. I think they were both pushing for top spot quite hard in ElectricSpirit's first season in the EMEA B divisions. So they're going to recognise each other quite a bit. But I think this is a good opportunity. When you've got these mixed category races, it's a good opportunity for some of the lower ranked riders to pick up some of those ranking points from some of the higher category riders. So here we go, the flag has dropped and we're off. I better pick a rider to go with, hadn't I, really? Let's have a look. Let's move ourselves up the bunch here. Not that I expect any of the Pro Vision guys to be knocking around the bunch here, but I better also open up the companion app and then I can hopefully catch some of our very own riders in. Let's take a look at some of the ElectricSpirit. So the Pro Vision guys will typically be in this yellow kit that you can see here. This is the MTS kit with a black shorts, yellow top. ElectricSpirit always in the orange. So plenty of those guys here. So again, we've got some mixed category riders. Got a very own Alan Heath here from Pro Vision, pushing out 3 watts a kilo. Steve Troymans, he's one of our Pro Vision Belgian riders that we've got here. So Steve runs 2 of our very own Pro Vision teams. So it's good to see him in the mix. I know he's spent a lot of the summer out in the real world. I'm sure I've just seen Lee Wild up there as well. So let's start to move up the bunch, see what's happening. So again, another Pro Vision rider there. That's one of our new guys. What we're in. Zip 828 and a Trek setup. Very good. Alright, so we're starting to move towards the front of the peloton. I've just seen Ludo. So here in the bike and beer kit, we've got our very own, again, Ludo from Pro Vision BBR. Bikes, beer and riding, or Belgian bike riders. Belgian beer riders. I can't remember what it is. The Belgian, they drink beer and they ride bikes. That's all we need to know, isn't it? And there you go. You can see quite a few of the Pro Vision riders in yellow just ahead here. But also being swamped by... Where's Rob? There we go. Rob Halsall. Quality rider from Pro Vision. Sitting himself up there amongst the Bs and the As. Well, looking like this. There doesn't seem to be too many A's up here. Let's see if we can jump in. Yeah, there's not too many A's in this race. It's pretty dominated by B's, which is fantastic to see. So we're at the head of the race here. Just going to open up Zwift Power at the same time, so we can have a look at what's going on live. Get some time checks to see where our guys are. Who have we got here? Another Pro Vision rider. This is Tom George, one of our new riders. Let's have a look, see if we can find where Mr. Colley is. Our very own Tom Colley. Where is he? There he is, Tom Colley. Tom is you always spot Tommy with the afro going on there as well. So at the moment we've got about 6 A riders in this front group, with many B riders and a couple of C riders in there as well. I can see Andy Keir from ElectricSpirit is riding high up there as well. So far averaging 3.6 watts a kilo. It's good to see Tom, as I said, Tom Colley, one of our Pro Vision riders, out on the road as well as on Zwift. Last season, should I say, Tom bumped himself up to an A category. I think he's had a little bit of summer off, so he may well be back down to a B as we go right now. There he is. There's Tom. Let's see if we can jump in and find Lee Wild. Lee is our highest ranked rider in this race, and again, he's the one to look out for when it comes to that sprint. Let's see if we can see where he's sitting. Very shrewd, good tactical rider here. Pushing 5.7 watts a kilo. Looks a little bit high to me, that. If you look at the riders in front, they're not pushing anywhere near that. So maybe he's just moving up a little bit there for some reason. But you can see we're already 3.4 kilometers in. As I've said, this is a 15-kilometer race, so it is pretty short. It's going to be pretty snappy. So the riders are going to be spending quite a bit of time, I'd have thought, at the front here above 4 watts a kilo. I'd be surprised if the average was below 4 watts a kilo for this particular event. But lots and lots. Look at the amount of orange that we can see there. Plenty of Team ElectricSpirit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Pro Vision riders there as well. And if you just look to the left, you can see our very own Liz Van Housling as well. So let me just see if I can pick up on Liz. Liz is our very talented and super strong. No, I don't want my view. I want the fan view. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see me sat in the pen. So there's Liz. You can see it. Liz has really spent the summer developing her sprint. If we look at some of Liz's results from the last couple of weeks, she's really up to her game in terms of sprint. So whatever she's doing is working. And again, you can see 230 watts. Liz is a light rider as well, so that's a lot of power there for a light rider. So up there we've got Ludo from Pro Vision, we've got Keith ElectricSpirit, Joe, Stuart, Jonathan and Tim, all from ElectricSpirit. Owen as well from Team Rhino, one of our Welsh riders, is leading the way, pushing the front as we speak. And then we've got Rob, Tom, Thomas, another one of our Belgian riders, along with Darren Mitchell Hall, another one of the Pro Vision riders up there as well. So these guys won't be contesting the sprint at the intermediates, but they absolutely will be contesting the sprint when it comes to the end of the race. So a pretty big bunch here. But you can see it is starting to break up and spread out. This pace is pretty hot at the front. I mean, we're sitting mid-pack here with Liz. She is still pushing out 4.8, 5.5 watts a kilo there. So it's no surprise that we're seeing riders tailed off the front there. But again, look at those ElectricSpirit riders pushing the front, pushing the wind. I'd be telling my Provision guys to drop back at this point. Get a bit more shelter. No doubt that's what Lee Wilder's doing right now. So let's check on Lee to see where he is again. A little bit higher than I thought, but maybe he's just trying to keep himself out of trouble. Make sure he doesn't get tailed off the back, because look at that. This group is starting to reduce down pretty quickly here. So that's the first 5.5 kilometres done. We've got about 10 kilometres to go now. So we're already a third of our way through this race. Lee Wilde just pushing the wind on the front there. Well, I'm sure we're going to see him drop off the watts a little bit there. There we go, 107 watts. Backing off, drifting back, just making sure he is in that draft. So we've got Christian from Team Spirit, Christian Voyer from ElectricSpirit up there. Benjamin Brignall from the Rhino team again, he's also up there, one of our Canadian riders. Gavin Spears, Team ElectricSpirit, also pushing the wind. And it's great to see the man back, David Squirrel, the dirt rider. Hadn't spotted him down on the list until just. Very, very good racer. Absolutely going to be one to watch as we come into the finish here. Now, I can only assume David must have been a late entry, because otherwise he would have absolutely have shown up there as one of the highest ranking riders in there. So David has a sprint of 13.2 watts a kilo, but this guy absolutely knows what he's doing in terms of positioning on any particular course. I've raced against David on flat courses, hilly courses. I've not managed to shake the guy yet, so he is absolutely one to watch there. So what we're looking at, we've got about 10 A riders, 20 B riders in this group. Let's have a look if we have any C's and D's in this group. Richie Howell, one of our own riders, a C rider, is still in this group there, just sitting towards the back. I can also see Dave Bitchy there, also sitting in this group. He's a C rider. 3 A plus riders and around about 6 A riders here in the group. Let's move to the front a little bit. Gavin Noble, we've not talked about Gavin Noble. Again, another one of the Provision riders who's been moving up the rankings. Gavin raced with me last year in our ZRL team. And again, week on week, I watch this guy get stronger and stronger. And I think it's real useful when you have these team time trials at the start and at the end of ZRL. Gavin was one of those guys, there was a clear progress that we saw as we progressed through that season. Maybe it was just our technique improving at the same time. So who have we got sitting on the front here? Let's take a look. So a couple of ElectricSpirit riders just sitting off the front here. So who are we looking at here? We're looking at Endersby. We've spoken about him a couple of times. Again, very, very good rider, good sprinter. If I remember rightly, he was one of the A category riders. Let's have a look there. There we are, the Rhino rider we were talking about. Dropping slowly back. I mean, there must be 10 ElectricSpirit riders around here. Darren Humphrey as well. Good to see him in the mix. He's just joined the Provision team there. He's riding the Cervelo S5 there. Plenty of Tron bike action in this group, which is great to see. So clearly plenty of experience. Let's take a look at the Squirrel Man himself, David. There we go. We can see David in his dirt jersey, sat nicely towards the front, but not on the front. As I said, David from the Dirty Sprockets team, EMEA West B1, I think we were last season. So did a lot of time racing with David and his team. Very experienced. And again, we're going to start to see these riders keep themselves in the front 5 or 10 riders here, because we are approaching that 9 kilometre mark. It's going to leave 6 kilometres to go. It's flat, it's rolling, the pace is still high. It has settled a little bit there. We can see David just drifting towards the back. I think that's Lee Wild, or maybe Gavin Noble just sat next to him there. There he is. Gavin just sat on the back. David just sat on the back, making sure they're in the draft. Again, there will just be, there's enough, or not enough riders here, or just enough riders here that you can always see the front of the pack. So if anyone is trying to get off the front or making any splits, you can see when that is happening and you can react quickly. So I can see a couple of dirt riders in here, in fact. So let's take a quick look at who else we've got in here from dirt. So this is Toby Sinton, an A category rider that we are looking at from Dirt. Or the other Dirt rider, should I say, that's in here. We've got one of our, I can see the Swedish Zwifters are also got some representation in this group as well. So let's try and see if we can have a look there. There's Thomas, one of our Belgian riders again, sat near the back. Fantastic. Trying to get onto this other Dirt rider. But he keeps jumping around. He's floating backwards and forwards in this pack. Let's work our way towards the front. I'm sure I've just seen Liam in there as well from TFC again. Raced with Liam before, one of the Irish riders from TFC. Let's see if we can find him somewhere as well. Again, very good rider, very experienced Liam. Liam also got a sprint of 11.8 watts a kilo, weighing in at 75 kilograms. But you can really see this pack has reduced in size. What are we looking at? 20, 30 riders in this? So here we go again, following Tom Colley, A category rider from Pro Vision. It's going to be difficult here. Who do we watch for this sprint? Whose wheel are we going to follow? This is the view from the pack. Let's see if we can have a bit more of a detailed look at what's going on here. That's a fantastic view. There we go. So we can just see a couple of riders trying to make a move off the front here. Let's see if we can work our way up and see who that is. I think we're also catching a few of the other riders here. I mean, Team ElectricSpirit are really packing out the front here, so just drop back a little bit, we'll get a good idea. So I'm counting around about 10 or 15 ElectricSpirit riders in there. Plenty of the Pro Vision team in there as well, which is fantastic to see. I am biased, of course. I can see Lee Wild at the front there. We've got Putman at the front. The beer and bike jersey at the back here. This is another one of the Pro Vision beer and bike riders. Belgian beer riders. I should know, but I forget what these guys call themselves. But we've got two Belgian teams within the Pro Vision ranks now, which is fantastic. So here we go, 12.6 kilometers, around about 2.5 kilometers to go now. A little bit of a gradient as we drag up here, as you can see, 5%. We're just catching a few of the back markers. As I said, there's quite a few laps on. I think it was a 5-lap course. It is a very, very short loop, this one. Indeed, 5 laps. Let's see. So all together as we come down to this sprint banner, but of course we won't be contesting this sprint. Just starting to get strung out a little bit here as the pace is moving up. Maybe catching a few sticky watts from that group that we just passed as well. But we're just going to stick with these riders. A couple of power-ups being dropped here as well. So who is going to have the aero? So we're just dropping a feather at this point, which is good to see. So again, maybe 20 to 30 riders in this group. Leon from TFC is just pushing the front at the moment with Ben Davey ElectricSpirit in second. And then we've got Stefan from Swedish Zwifters up there as well. Again, I imagine Stefan is a very experienced sprinter and a good sprint as well at 13.9 watt a kilo personal best on his 15-second power. So again, not to be messed around with here. So we have around about 20 riders in this front group here. Couple of riders just started to try and keep the pressure on the front. We can see 5 watts a kilo, 4.8, 5.4 watts a kilo on the front. So 14 kilometers down, we have around about 1.5 kilometers to go now. So this is where things are going to start to get a little bit nervous, a little bit touchy. There's plenty of riders here from many teams, so maybe we're going to see someone fire off the front early. That'll be an interesting tactic from either Pro Vision or ElectricSpirit. I don't see the guys from Dirt doing that. But this is going to be a good sprint. So who is going to position themselves in the perfect position to take these points and win stage 3 of the ElectricSpirit Invitational? So we're just under 1 kilometer to go now. We can see a feather power up being done. That's a good move. I can see Liz up there, Lee Wild up there. Watch out for this green jersey at the same time. Liam from TFC is also up there. I can see David up there as well from Dirt. I can see Toby up there from Dirt. But again, we're still all together with 500 meters to go. The watts are starting to pick up here. 5.7 now. 5 watts a kilo. Not exactly the best position to be dropping your draft there. Maybe just offering a bit of assistance for some of his teammates. Here we go. We're in the action now. All together as we approach the final sections of this race. Here we go. The feather power-ups have been dropped. The aeros have been dropped. 13.5 watts a kilo. So right now it's ElectricSpirit pushing hard at the front. Lee Wild is also up there, but 4 ElectricSpirit riders all on the front going for this finish banner. And there we have it. So let's have a look at these results. So we can see there some of the fastest sprint times. And as I said, Lee Wild, a very, very accomplished sprinter, has managed to get the fastest sprint time. That doesn't necessarily mean he will have the overall victory. I also saw Liz up there from Pro Vision. But it certainly looked very, very dominated by ElectricSpirit when we look at those numbers. So just bear with me while we wait for those final results as they start to come through. So I do believe that it was an A-ranked rider, possibly Grant Womack, who took the victory there. So we have the results in. We have an A. Bailey from ElectricSpirit winning that race in 19.21. We have a Bevis, ElectricSpirit, 19.22.
Womack from BL13 actually got third in the end, 19.22, an average watt of 4.6. If we look at the B riders, we've got an A. Owen from Rhino, took the victory there, 19.23, 14 watts a kilo. Molinari from the Coalition, as I said, 19.24. We've got an M. Cox, 19.24. Hughes, 19.24. He's Electric Spirit. David, the Squirrel from Dirt, was 5th in 19.24. Liam Dunn, as I said, also very experienced, 19.25. He took 6th. Casey from Electric Spirit, 19.25. Lee Wild, our very own Lee Wild, 19.25. Also 14.4 watts a kilo. I know there was a bit of an internal bet whether he would go under 20 minutes, and he was absolutely right. So I'm pretty sure one of my Belgian colleagues owes Lee a beer at this point. So again, managed to break the top 10 there. In the He's, again from Dirt, 19.27. And Liz Van Howling, 19.28, rounds out the top 10. Again, a Provision rider. Let's take a look at the C category riders. We've got a Broadway, 20.41. That is a phenomenal ride. From anyone who's gone 20 minutes, under 21 minutes on this course as a C category or D category rider, fantastic. Howell from Provision was second there in the C category race, 20.45. Thompson, 20.48. And then we've got two Electric Spirit riders rounding out the 4th and 5th with Turner and Kia from Electric Spirit. Finally, let's move on to the D category riders. And we have two finishers there. A Buchel, 22.11, 3.3 watts a kilo. And an M. Miles, 11 years of age. Fantastic ride, 23 minutes and 8 seconds with an average watts of 3.7 watts per kilo. So, fantastic event. Well done to Electric Spirit for putting on your first stages and races to date. I hope we see plenty more from you guys in the future. Thank you all for watching the stream. And also, just a quick note there that from Provision, we are on the hunt for a number of C category riders right now to race with us in ZRL Season 4. So if you're a C category rider and you want to ride with Provision in Season 4, drop us an email, visit the Facebook pages Provision Zwift Racing, or drop me a message on YouTube. That is also fine. And hopefully we'll see you on the start line for Season 4.